Welcome back to the Mental Health Minute. I'm Dr. Emily Mayfield, a licensed psychologist. I want to thank you for watching this video and being part of the Mindset Therapy family. With these videos, I want to provide information on mental health related topics to reduce the stigma of mental health. Please consider subscribing to my channel as a way to grow the reach so that more people can be provided valuable information on their mental health. You can also turn on the notification bell to be notified of the next video when it's uploaded. I'll post a video every Tuesday and Friday, so check back soon. For today's video, I'm going to discuss what emotional abuse is, what it looks like in relationships, and how you can get help for yourself or someone else if there is emotional abuse in the relationship. Also, stick around to the end to hear the tip of the day. These are quick tips on ways that you can start to improve your overall mental and emotional functioning. So abuse of any sort in relationships can be damaging. Abuse in relationships can be present in many forms and includes physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, and sexual abuse. It's important to note a relationship involves two or more people that are connected in some way and does not only include romantic relationships. Relationships can include dating partners, parent-child, siblings, friends, and co-workers. Regardless of the type of relationship, there is the potential for abuse to occur. In this video, I'm going to focus specifically on emotional abuse. So emotional abuse can be hard to spot because it develops slowly over time and doesn't leave the marks and bruises commonly seen with physical abuse. However, despite the absence of outward effects of the abuse, research has shown the effects of emotional abuse can be long-lasting and damaging to a person's self-esteem and self-worth. If you experience bullying, feel as if you're always walking on eggshells, or never good enough, then you might be experiencing emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is difficult to recognize because it's often disguised through manipulation and mixed with some positive words and behaviors. Emotional abuse can be carried out with a smile by the abuser, further confusing the victim on what's happening. Most people who are emotionally abusive do not immediately start the abuse in new relationships. If they did, then people wouldn't want to stick around. When someone can start out appearing nice and understanding, they can more effectively draw people into their emotionally abusive ways. The goal of the abuser is to gain control of the other person. The abuser uses tactics that allows them to isolate and silence the victim so that they become submissive and question their own self-worth. The abuser wants to have the other person question their thoughts and actions so that they can remain in control. The victim begins to feel trapped because they don't know whether they should believe the abuser or themselves. They question their own thoughts and feelings, and this keeps the abuser in control. The abuser may not engage in these behaviors in front of others, or others don't have the context to realize that it is abusive. So if you see a couple every other week, you may not notice some of the words stated by one partner are abusive because on their own they wouldn't be. So for example, if you have a dinner with a couple and the abusive partner tells their spouse that they always overcook the food, this on its own wouldn't be abusive. However, it could be representative of constant put-downs the victim hears and deals with every day. Abusers also commonly present with very differently in public than in private. So what is emotional abuse? How can you spot it when it's happening to you or others? Emotional abuse encompasses many different behaviors, all of which are meant to control the victim and lead to decreased self-esteem so the abuser can remain in control. Here's some categories of emotional abuse, but this list is not all inclusive. Constant criticism, use of belittling language, name-calling, isolating, refusing to communicate at all and shut you down, gaslighting, punishment or threats of punishment, withholding affection as a form of punishment, and isolation. Now that you know what emotional abuse is, what do you do about it? Recognizing the emotional abuse is happening can be difficult. If your abuser has isolated it can be even harder to recognize because you don't have anyone to talk with about the words and actions and whether what you're experiencing is normal. Add to that the attempts by the abuser to engage in behaviors that lower your self-esteem so that you stay. If you suspect that any of the examples of emotional abuse are happening to you, reach out and get help. If you can't talk to your friends and family, contact a therapist or one of the free domestic violence support websites. By reaching out for help, you are placing yourself in control of the situation and removing the control from your partner. It's important to not do this alone because emotional abuse can progress into physical abuse if the abuser thinks that they're losing control of you or the situation. You or someone you know might be in an abusive relationship but decide to stay despite the presence of abuse. Why do people stay in abusive relationships? This is a complex topic with many factors and varies from person to person. Some of the common reasons people stay is that they have no other options for a place to live. Their self-esteem has been affected so significantly that they think no other person would want to be with them, or they have hope that the other person will change. This last possible reason for someone to stay in an abusive relationship is an important one. For people who are not abusers, they try to find the good in people and believe that someone will change. They might stick with the relationship with the hope the other person will change. The victim might change their behaviors as a way to please the abuser in an attempt for things to get better. But nothing's different. When someone is successful in most other areas of their life, they believe that they can also be successful in their relationship and do enough for positive changes. The problem with this approach is that the abuser's primary goal is to stay in control. So as the victim changes their behaviors to try to make positive changes in the relationship, the abuser changes their tactics to remain in control. It becomes this dance with the victim trying to lead, but the abuser never letting it happen. A person must want to change, and until the abuser wants to change their behaviors in a way that is beneficial for the relationship, they will continue to act in the same way. So if you find that you're in an abusive relationship, know that you're not alone. Reach out to someone for guidance on what you should do. The sooner you can get out of the abusive relationship, the easier it will be because there will be less impact on your self-esteem and self-worth. So now for today's tip of the day. Do things that make you happy. Not everything is a competition, and you might have interest in hobbies that you aren't really good at, but they make you happy. Keep doing these things. Engaging in activities you enjoy can have a positive impact on your mental health. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the content and check out one of our other mental health minutes. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good day.